You're listening to KEXP at 90.3 FM in Seattle, streaming worldwide at kexp.org. I'm Cheryl Waters. I'm a big fan of this next artist. So excited to have you live in the studios here at KEXP. Adia Victoria, welcome.
Thank you, Cheryl.
So great to have you here in our own home. Last time I saw you, we were in Iceland a couple of years ago. You've toured a lot, and you have a beautiful new record, Silences. I'm so excited to hear these new songs.
Thank you.
Adia Victoria live on KEXP.
I never bothered to ask, never
Never bother with please. Never bother with excuse me, miss, begging pardon, darling, that ain't for me. I like to do things my way, or I don't do them at all. 'Cause first they ask you to compromise, that makes with the men that you crawl. I guess that makes me a hater, quite passionately. Oh darling, I am a hater, ain't that hard with me. He says I'm covered in shame. He says I'm covered in sin. But it none my ways last night. It sure ain't none my skin. But darling, I never talk.
Talk. Oh no,
You know that I never tell.
I'll never tell. Oh no,
I'll be a tightly confidant, be silent, Jezebel. Hell, I guess that makes me hate something no one can know. I hear you calling me Heathen, woo, like you think it hurts. Jesus came to me one day, he washed my sins away. But then I caught sight of those city lights, I was led astray. 'Cause darling, I am a heathen, oh yes, bitter to the bone. But if I am the heathen, then why won't you leave me alone? Whoa, leave me alone. Gonna leave me alone, yes, baby. You better leave me alone, yeah, baby. Gonna leave me alone, yes, baby. You better leave me alone. Ba-da-da-da, la-la-la-la-la. La-di-da-da-da, la-la-la-la, la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
That is so wonderful. Adia Victoria live on KEXP, songs from her new album, Silences. You look like you are enjoying playing these songs, performing these songs so much, and with this amazing band.
Yes, it's a dream come true.
I'll never forget the first time I saw you at Pickathon in the summer of 2016. You just released your album, Beyond the Bloodhounds, and I was so captivated by your songs and your incredible and dynamic live performance. I wanted to take a leave of absence from work and follow you on the road. And the next time I saw you was a few months later in Iceland Airwaves. It was the first time we could have you live on the air. Again, such a great performance. And your sound is just so amazing. I just feel like you're a reminder that the blues are so very much alive and there's still so much to do with that music.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about your journey and discovery of the kind of music that you love and play?
For sure. So I was raised rather strictly in the Seventh-day Adventist church in school growing up. So I didn't have a lot of musical influences as a child. I came into the blues later, I would say, as well as playing the guitar. I was 21. I was living in Atlanta, working full-time as a telemarketer. And my best friend, she moved actually to Seattle for the summer, and she left me an old Washburn acoustic guitar, and I was just bored out of my mind with my life. So I fell in love with guitar and the blues, and it gave me something to apply myself towards for the first time in my life. I was never a really good student. And so when I found the blues, I felt for the first time as well plugged into my lineage as a Southern Black woman. I saw these people that had come before me and walked the same grounds and grew up in the same land that I grew up on, and they managed to turn their lives into art. And so after that, I was sold. I was like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
And your performances are so dynamic. Was that something you had to learn? Is that something you were comfortable with right away?
I think I take to it like a fish in water. I performed in the church choir as a little girl, and I was always the solo singer because I was such a little ham. But I think for me, it was just because I felt seen for the first time when I was able to perform for people, and I was able to enter into a sort of communion with people because I'm rather reclusive in my actual life. So being on stage allows me to connect with people in a way that's helpful and healthy and not overwhelming for me.
That really describes how I felt about you at that first show, the summer of 2016. It was like a tractor beam. You had just sort of drawn me in. And I, now seeing you a few times over the last couple of years, I feel like watching you perform these songs today, I see a subtle evolution and a tiny bit of a change in the songs, as you would expect from an artist, you know, who grows. I know this record, Silences, you recorded in upstate New York with Aaron Dessner, and that seems like a very nice place to make a record,
Yes.
very peaceful. Tell me what that was like.
So I met Aaron in this context. I actually was not familiar at all with the Nationals' work. So for me, he was just this kindly, quiet man who lived in the woods up in upstate New York. But I was coming off of, 2 years of touring behind the first album, and I'd gone through a lot of losses in my personal life that I wasn't quite prepared to let go of, I guess. I hadn't processed. And I think Aaron recognized right off the bat when we started doing pre-production together that there was still a lot that I needed to navigate. So he made this experience of recording this record a safe space for me, where I was able to go back home to Nashville and live my life and kind of digest, how all the ways my life had changed after Beyond the Bloodhounds, and to write music from that. And he was very intentional about, keeping all of the label heads and, at a distance and explain to them, like, she has a story to tell. She's just, just give her some time. And I think that kind of sums up my whole experience with him, was just, he allowed me to feel safe enough as an artist to create this record.
What are the stories that you wanted to tell, or the story?
I wanted to tell the story of what happens when the outside world encroaches upon the human spirit to the extent that it is silenced. This album takes its title, Silences, from the work by Tilly Olson. She was a feminist writer in the mid-20th century, and her book, Silences, it details the way that women, have this creative seed and instinct as much as men do, but it's often silenced because of the way that we are taught to go throughout the world, putting everybody else first. So this seed of creativity isn't necessarily able to be watered and come to fruition. And I wanted to tell the story of what happens when your spirit is almost crushed, either by religion or relationships or just other expectations from the world, and what can happen when you kind of ping out from all of that pressure. You go out into the world, you can kind of lose your mind a little bit, have a lot of fun, too much fun, but you lose contact with yourself. And then by the end of the record, the character having, taken all of these knocks, by the end, all she wants is to be lonely with herself again.
Very meaningful. It's such a beautiful record. It's called Silences, and one of the songs on there is called The City, and you've lived in Nashville for quite some time now, and like many cities, including Seattle, it's changing rapidly. Mm-hmm. What does that song say about that city, and how do you feel about Nashville? It's, among many other things, it's called Music City, USA.
Right. Well, it's quite painful for me because Nashville was the first city that I allowed myself to make a home in. My family's there. My friends, my business is there, and you see the city quickly trying to eject people that look like you out of the city, essentially telling you that you have no claim to this town. So it's been a little bit traumatic. It's been painful to watch the city lose its essence, its soul, in the name of the highest bidder. So I wanted to write the city kind of as a memoriam to the town that I love, that I used to be able to afford to live in with my friends, and all the places that are disappearing. I wanted to commit it to song before it's all gone, because it's rapidly disappearing.
It must be hard because you're on the road a lot and you want to come home and feel like, you've come to this place that's safe. And I know that touring is an exercise in extremes and highs and lows. How, now that you've done this for a while, do you find ways to stay healthy and support yourself emotionally and physically when you're on tour?
I remind myself what I'm doing this for. I center myself in that. I center myself in that intention of, I'm doing this to connect with people. I'm doing this to tell my story. I'm doing this not just for my present self, but for all the selves that I have been in the past, all the young girls and the women that I have been, who didn't necessarily have the ability to speak. And I speak for her now, and I'm still accountable to her. So that keeps me healthy. That allows me to kind of, see past all of the craziness and the difficulties and the flattery and whatnot. All of that is fleeting. And to know that I have a home to go back to with my mom and my sisters and my cats, that's how I define myself. So I'm able to do this level of rigorous work and not lose my mind.
When you put so much of yourself out there on tour, what's your life like at home with Bot Dot and Nancy?
Bot Dot and Nancy, my kids. I keep intentionally a very simple private life. I don't go out to bars and parties, and I'm not rubbing elbows in Nashville. Nashville for me is a place to remain completely anonymous. I work with my band, but I keep my life very, very small, and for me, that's manageable. Anything else is it just blows me all out of proportion. So, I still don't have a driver's license. I don't drive. I take the bus around. I walk around. People will see me walking down West End in my coat and with my cat. And, I just try and stay very true and honest and rooted in my family at home.
That describes my life as well. You feel passionate about the work you do, and then you need to, turn in and take care of yourself. Well, it's such a pleasure to have you here, and Silence is such a beautiful record. We're so delighted to have Adia Victoria and this magnificent band live in studio today. And you've got 2 more songs.
Yes, we have 2 more.
Knocking on my door. Mr. Bill collector calling, but I don't answer no more. I keep a pistol in my pocket, got a dagger hidden in my face. Yes, I'm dancing with the devil, only trying to do my best. Yes. trying to stay. Now we can love one another and then we'll throw each other away. I'll say yeah until shines my shines. We are lost. We are lost. I wanna break free from my body, shaking this nice skin now. I'm not God, I'm not God. Of this I'm convinced. I wanna break free from my body, shaking this nice skin now. I'm not God, I am not God. I take some other still. We are lost. We are lost.
Wow, that was amazing. Adia Victoria is live here in the KEXP studios from the new album Silences. She and her band performing songs today here on KEXP.
The song is called Cry Wolf. It's for Sylvia Plath. Once is enough, twice is a thrill, 3 times I'll get you, that's overkill. You gotta know when to go, say, and leave it alone. Hole in my heel, there's a hole in my head, where the thoughts leak out, they wet the bed, and spread and spread and spread. But all you do is you cry wolf. Oh, you cry wolf all the time. Lead me, guide me, get me home. I promise you, my odds are sown. I'll be good, I'll be good, off with her hand, eating the ends, polish my bones so they shine when I grin. I'll be good, I'll be good, oh my God, I'll be good. But all you do is you cry wolf. Oh, you cry wolf all the time. All you do is you cry wolf. Oh, you cry wolf all the time. The strangest part is when they ask you what's the matter, you smile and say nothing, but you could not be silent. There, against the window, that's you just splattered. Here, across the floor, you lay a disaster. You run after yourself, and the devil runs after, and you say, oh my God, I'm a fucking disaster. You shatter, you splatter, you shatter, you splatter, you shatter, you splatter, you shatter, you splatter, you shatter and splatter, you shatter, you splatter, you shatter and splatter and shatter. What's the matter? You shatter and splatter and shatter and splatter. Yeah.
Yes, right. That was amazing. Adia Victoria live on KEXP. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Cheryl.
It's always great to see you. You sound amazing. The new record called Silences. You've got a tune to KEXP Seattle. Discover new music at listener-powered KEXP.org.